Good morning. This is White Raptor News Ministries. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of Truth, the living Spirit, the breath of life, the one true Supreme, the authority, the rider, the perpetual, the always in motion, the self-existing, the power, the source, the force, the all, the almighty, the all you can see and the all you cannot see, the one, the supreme one, the only one. All praise and glory to his almighty power, the supreme spirit of truth. We're here at Deuteronomy 25. When people have a dispute, they are to take it to court, and the judge will decide the case, acquitting the innocent and condemning the guilty. That doesn't happen on this plane of existence, does it? It seems to me, with all the movies that they shove down our throats, that any time a woman that was raped that takes the stand, she's the one that is made the victim or made the perpetrator. She dressed a certain way. She acted a certain way. Okay, well, you know what? No man should ever rape another woman. But what you got to understand is that there are women out there that mankind has done things to. They've taken them by the millions. They've put children in chambers and they've raped them and they've beat them and they've prodded them. They've electrocuted them. They've done all these things. They've had men climb on top of them, man after man after man after man after man, and they've turned them into sex slaves. And they're out there in the millions. And they're designed to destroy you, to suck your soul dry, to bring you down. You know, you think to yourself, wow, I got this gorgeous, beautiful woman. Wow, she's everything. And they give it to you and they make you feel like you're a god yourself or a king yourself, right? And then what happens? Their light switch changes, right? They just turn it off, all right? They start seeking it outside of other places because they're trained this way. They think that they want to be in a relationship, but once they're in the relationship, they'll destroy it, and they're just out there by the millions. So I'm telling you, kids, gird up your stuff and protect yourself. Make sure that you're always straight, man. So there are women out there that if they weren't doing what they were doing, they wouldn't get raped. Say a prostitute, a woman that's prostituting her body. You know, she solicits to the wrong guy inside of a car and they go down around the corner. He shows her a little bit of money. She gets in the car. They do the thing and then he just kicks her out of the car. Well, that might get your ass kicked later from a pimp because she's going to go right to the pimp. She's going to get her ass whooped from the pimp because she didn't collect any money. Pimp might come looking for you. And that's the way this shithole works. That's the way the streets are, folks. Okay, the streets, the world, and everything that's going on outside that place out there, that's all evil. The city and what's going on in the city, it's all bad. If the guilty person deserves to be beaten, the judge shall make them lie down and have them flogged in his presence with the number of lashes the crime deserves. But the judge must not impose more than 40 lashes. 40 lashes? Folks, do you know how many, you're passed out by lash 15, man. You're done. You're in complete shock. Your body's shutting down. 40 freaking lashes? How do they come up with this number, huh? Not impose more than 40 lashes on the person. Well, you know what? I am all in order and agreement that if a man is raping a woman and he gets caught, that the community should take care of it. We as the communities should be taking care of our own shit. We should just discard, fuck the police from now on, man. Don't even call the police from now on. You know fucking somebody that did something and you know it absolutely 100% happened. You go beat that motherfucker within an inch of his life. So should be the same with everything that is an abomination to the Spirit of God. Okay? Beat these fucking demons out of the flesh suits, is what I'm basically saying. Well, who are the demons? The demons are the ancient ancestors that still rule through a host system. Rule the politicians, those that have sold their souls for the money and the fame and the riches and to live a glorious life, and rip you off all at the same time. So 40 lashes is a lot of lashes, but I'm a firm believer that if a man gets caught raping another child, boy or girl, that man needs to be beat within his inch of his life, not to be killed. By no reason is he to be killed. No reason is he to be beat to a point where he loses his mind, his faculties, he's not able to walk. But, well, maybe you could take his legs away from him, cut his hands off, all that shit. Yeah, within an inch of his life. You know, because if you take a man's hands off of their body after they've raped somebody, they can't grab anybody anymore, can they? A woman has a much better chance of defending against a man like that. This is the kind of penalties and stuff that should incur upon people that make these treacherous acts. Parents that rape their own children and sodomize them. People that put their children on the streets. Absolutely, if they've found out, this is the problem. And what's really twisted about these relationships is the children still love their parents. Their parents are raping them, sticking them out on the streets, turning them into prostitutes, have men climbing on them that are their friends. Hey, come on over, man. You can bang my daughter tonight. That's the way how evil this shitty world is. And you don't hear that, do you? You don't want to hear this kind of talk, okay? The media isn't serving you anything other than what it is they want to serve for you. You're getting nothing of value from the mainstream media. Isn't that true?
I don't like watching fake news.
Go ahead, President-elect. Since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are
is
attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization
Can you give us a
is
chance to
terrible.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir,
Don't be rude.
can
No,
you
I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
can
You are fake news.
What we've learned about fake over the last little while. Fake news. CNN, fake. Whoops, the camera just went off.
Okay, you can come back. I won't say. I want you all to know that we are fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake. 2 days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people. And that's a great honor, believe me. Tonight, we put aside all of the policy fights in Washington, D.C. you've been hearing about with the fake news and all of that.
I don't know what newspaper you're reading, but I guess that would be another example of, as you say, fake news. Sit down.
Just because of the attack of fake news and attacking our network, I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine?
Very fake.
All right, guys. You see what I mean? I mean, it's very clear. Donald Trump told us all on Fox News. Okay, Fox News is 666. Mind you, all news media is 666. I listened to a video this morning about a guy who said that he is both God and Satan. It was interesting information. Where he gets his information and stuff, I don't know. But it was interesting. Not that I believe that we are gods, because if I was God, you know, I'd raise my mother back from the dead, give her an opportunity to apologize to me for her wrongdoings. She went to her grave and couldn't find resolve in our relationship because I had found this truth about the Supreme Creator. And I've been trying to lead people to understand that it's us. We are the beast, all of us. And even Israel, there's just so many numbers of Israel that have become beasts themselves. And this is what you got to understand. Okay? If the guilty party is flogged more than that, your fellow Israelite will be degraded in your eyes. Okay, do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain. If brothers are living together and one of them dies without a son, his widow must not marry outside the family. Her husband's brother shall take her and marry her and fulfill the duty of the brother-in-law to her. The first son she bears shall carry on the name of the dead brother, so that his name will not be blotted out from Israel. So this is pretty heavy to me, that this is how important it was. Now, to me personally, myself, a brother has to marry the sister-in-law, so that the sister-in-law and the brother that died can carry the name. This is how serious God of Israel is. Now, let's see. This is kind of hard for me to understand, because I think of these things. I put myself in this position, and this is how I pretty much read the Bible today, okay? I think to myself, okay, if my brother's wife, if I'm following the laws of this Bible here, and my brother's wife or my brother passed away and his wife was in the family, neither his wife or I cared for one another. So, and then you got to take into consideration, is this something that the woman wants? Because anytime you're forcing a marriage, a forced marriage, or telling somebody that, you have to carry on this law here, that you have to lay down with your brother's wife, and she knows, what if she was something that wasn't attractive at all? I mean, I have a difficult time with this. I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you feel about that? Putting yourself in these positions and saying to yourself, would I want to marry my brother's wife? God, no. No, I wouldn't want to marry her. I wouldn't want to lay down with her. I wouldn't want to have a child with her. I mean, what happens afterwards? I mean, if you're having a child with her, then that's your responsibility of that child. Now you got to take on your brother's wife. Now I understand that this is Israel, and this is one of those things where you take care of your own. That's what it is. You take care of your own. But couldn't you take care of this woman on her own until she found somebody herself that she loved? I guess it would be a wonderful scenario if the brother and sister-in-law had eyes for each other the whole entire time that brother was alive, and this just happens to be the perfect opportunity. Oh, brother's dead. Now I can. I mean, there's so many scenarios that could take place when you start putting yourselves and thinking in these positions outside the box. I will never turn from the 10 Commandments. Never. I will walk with those on my heart the rest of my eternal life. I will serve the Spirit of truth the rest of my eternal life. And that's the way it is. However, if a man does not want to marry his brother's wife, she shall go to the elders at the town gate and say, my husband's brother refuses to carry on his brother's name in Israel. He will not fulfill the duty of a brother-in-law to me. Then the elder of his town shall summon him and talk to him. If he persists in saying, I do not want to marry her, his brother's widow shall go up to him in the presence of the elder, take off one of his sandals, spit in his face, and say, this is what is done to the man who will not build up his brother's family line. That man's line shall be known in Israel as the family of the unsandaled. Wow, so there's even a curse upon you. And I'm just wondering today, I've never met or been around any group of people of this culture that have lived by these laws. Is there an Israelite person out there, a woman that has ever been in one of these scenarios, one of these situations where you had to marry your husband? I'm just curious. I'm just asking questions. If two men are fighting and the wife of one of them comes to rescue her husband from his assailant, and she reaches out and seizes him by his private parts, you shall cut off her hand. Show her no pity. Wow. Cut off a woman's hands for grabbing a man's Johnson. What are the circumstances, man? I don't think that there's, personally myself, sorry, man. Two men fighting in the street and you're married to one man and you want to protect your husband, it's only natural. What about a man who grabs another man's nuts? Like me, that's how I fight. I trained in martial arts 25 years of my life. That's what I go for. Why people are trying to knock my block off the top of my head, I duck right up underneath of it. I grab that groin and I hammer fist it a few times. I make them think twice about I crush them nards. Okay? To defend. What happens to a man that does that to another man? Shall his hands be cut off as well? The woman's trying to defend her husband. I don't know. That seems pretty serious. No, that is serious as hell, man, to cut a person's hands off for simply grabbing another man's testicles in a fight or an argument. Actually, if she's grabbing a man's nuts, she knows some kind of martial arts. That's a fact. A woman just doesn't walk up to a man and grab his nuts unless she knows something, unless she knows some kind of art. Whether maybe she might have a demon or something on her, man, because the very word kata means down. And this is where when you study martial arts, you're studying the art of war, the art to kill people. Then that all comes from down, from a lower dimensional god that causes war. So that's pretty serious to me, man. Cutting off a woman's hand. I know, I listened to Rap the News for 3 years. Solid, a year and a half. And then this stuff that I'm reading here, I never heard any of it. This is why it's so important for you to read the Bible yourself. Because when you start looking at some of these laws, what's the husband to say that her wife just grabbed the man's nuts? Where are we at? Are we in a bar? In a place that serves dysfunction and blocks the senses of those that indeed might be drinking at the bar? A fight is a fight. Shit cuts loose. Things fucking happen. I don't understand this one here at all, man. I wouldn't show her no pity. That is absolutely putting a man above a woman. And yes, a man is above a woman on this plane of existence, but that's something that I wouldn't engage with. Okay? Like I said, let me rectify my position that this Bible is teaching us that it was written, that the Bible here was written for the children of Israel. Okay? This Bible was not the Gentiles' Bible. What you got to understand is Gentile got their hands on the Bible and they changed scriptures. Isn't it funny how we went from one commandment from God not to touch the tree of knowledge of evil to 10 commandments of God to 613 commandments of God to 1,050 commandments of God. You start adding up all these commandments, and then now you start looking at the laws that are written on the books today of the American population, and America has over 600 million laws that are on the book. How can anybody, how could 518 people keep track of that many laws? Unless possibly it's being all ran out by a machine. A machine is the one that's keeping track of the laws. The machine is one that keeps reminding everybody what it is that has to be done. So, personally myself, that's a no-go for me. Cutting a woman's if she grabbed the man's nuts and she ripped the damn things off and she crushed his nuts, she hammer fist him like I say I do if I get in a fight with somebody. I don't just hammer fist anybody. Those are techniques that I use if I'm fighting multiple people. Whenever you got 3 people around you, you have to get people off you as quickly as possible. You want to get somebody off you quickly as possible. You grab their frickin' testicles and you slam them things with the hammer fist. And you smack them a couple times and that person is done. Okay? They're finished. Okay? So now you only got 2 to compete with. You know, and it's so quick, they're going to try to grab you because you just grabbed this man's nuts. Most people don't throw blows and stuff. And once you put hands on and you grab a martial artist instead of hitting him, you see, that's what you got to do is you got to hit him. You can't grab a martial artist. Once you grab him, you're done. A technique will fall in that line and he's going to break an arm. He's going to break a wrist. He's going to sock you in the stomach. He's going to do a body flow. He's going to throw you. He's going to flip you. He's going to do something to you. You can't grab a martial artist. Okay? You just can't do it. I've been in many fights. In fact, most all my fights in my entire life have all been at least 3 people trying to jump on me. All my life. And that's why I started studying martial arts. And it became fun for me after a while because instead of me getting my ass kicked all the time, I started kicking people's asses, and it's really something sweet to whoop someone's ass that's trying to force their will upon you and you're just minding your own business and you're just trying to get through the school or whatever, man. So I didn't study martial arts because I wanted to beat people up. I studied martial arts because I wanted to defend myself from people that wanted to beat me up. And there's a big difference. Okay, if you go into martial arts thinking you want to be a badass and you're training because you want to get in a cage and you want to fight with other peoples and you want to make money from it and stuff like that, then you're a killer. And that's not what I trained for. I didn't train to be a killer. I trained to be able to defend myself. Okay, do not have 2 different weights in your bag, one heavy, one light. Do not have 2 different measures in your house, one large, one small. You must have accurate and honest weights and measures so that you may live long in the land of the Lord your God is giving you. Well, whenever you're talking about weights and measures and stuff, remember you're talking about usury coming into the Bible, okay? Slavery into the Bible. People say all the time, why would God condone slavery? Well, folks, it's seriously a heavy question. He condemned slavery of his own children. You understand that? Not just those fallen angels. You understand the fallen angels were those created first. They were here first already. Okay, the Gentile nations were here first already. Prove it to you right here. Genesis chapter 1 verse 25, Bible Hub. God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds. This is a hidden meaning, for God created the United Nations, each nation according to its kind. That's what it's saying. The beast nations, okay? And then one man later, Genesis here, 26, says, let us, God here, Elohim. This is Elohim, which is plural of Eloah. This is gods, a lowercase gods, okay? And this God here is specifically used of a supreme God. So this is not the supreme God. If this God is, we're being told, is used, specifically used of the supreme God. What does that tell us? It tells us that each and every one of us, all of us, both good and evil, are used for the glory of the supreme creator, the spirit, outside this plane of existence, something no man's eyes can be laid upon. If you see God, you got to understand, God supreme is telling you no one can see his face and live. Then who are these prophets talking to, that they're referring to men as lords. Okay, because that's what they are. God says that he's not a man. I had this discussion the other day with my friend Gravy Train. Let me show you something here. Look. Numbers chapter 23:19 Bible Hub. God is not a man that he should lie. And then I really went into a deep rabbit hole on this, folks. Okay? I want you to hear what I'm going to say. God is not a man. God is not a man. So what I'm proposing here, God is not a man. Listen to me, watch. Watch how I roll and work. 424 John Bible Hub. God is spirit. God is not a man. God is a spirit. All right? So this is what the Spirit's wanting us to worship. He's wanting us to worship him in spirit. Truth. This is what I worship. I don't put a name to the Supreme Spirit. I don't call on a name. I don't call him Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh Yeshua, Yahweh, Yah, Gilgamesh, Melchizedek, Enlil, Enki, all of these gods, all of these other gods, these Mesopotamian gods, they are all ancient ancestors with very wise intelligence. But what they've done is they dumbed us down. They've hidden knowledge from us. You understand that we are a very infinite piece. If you are not, think of it like this. The ocean is not just one drop, but it's many drops that make up the ocean itself. And that's what we are. If God is the ocean, we are a drop in the ocean, making us an infinite being of the eternal spirit. But what you got to understand is some spirits have the spirit of truth on them, and then there's another spirit that's the spirit of lies. Duality must exist. So God is not a man, he's a spirit. That's what you got to understand. Okay? That he should lie. So God is not a man that he should lie, or the Son of Man, Jesus Christ, that he should change his mind. And Jesus changes his mind quite often in the New Testament. Just give you one contradiction real quick off the top of my head. John 5:31 Bible Hub. Give you another one here too. John 8:14 Bible Hub. Hold on. What the heck happened there? My mousey. Okay, give me a break. Hold on. I had to turn my mouse on. I got my camera set up and it's in front of my keyboard and stuff, and it's always a pain in the rear end to work around it, so I had to buy a mouse that would make it easier. Okay, first off, I need you all to understand that testimony is about Jesus, okay? Jesus is telling you I can do nothing myself. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just, because I do not seek my own will, but the will of him who sent me. So Jesus is telling you that he's sent, okay? Here, it's right there. He was sent. Jesus is sent, okay? He's sent by who? The Supreme. He's used just like everything else is used. All gods are those that consider themselves gods, or the 33 million other gods, or the 7 billion, maybe, let's say, gods that are on the face of this earth. Because if we're a drop in the ocean, then we're an infinite piece of the Supreme Spirit. Okay? We're not God. And this is where a lot of people in metaphysiology believe that we are gods. Because if you're an infinite piece of God, no matter how small, then we are all eternal beings. The question to ask yourself is, what's your where are you going to go? What's your final destination going to be? What if this destination here that we live on right here, this plane of existence, was hell? Well, I know that it is hell. And instead of burning in this fiery place of eternal gnashing of the teeth and torment and death, and that doesn't sound like a God of love to me, right? It sounds to me like a God of hate that would want to torment and burn and fry and listen to people scream, these souls scream. So what I'm trying to teach people is the gods that are used of the supreme creator, they are the tormentors used for God's glory. You understand that I was as vain and dirty and vile and an abomination and walking contrary to God as anybody on the face of this earth has ever done. Okay? I wasn't following the 10 Commandments. I didn't walk with the 10 Commandments on my heart. In fact, I damn near broke every 10 Commandment that there was. But I tell you, I'm damned if I'm lying to you if I don't follow those 10 Commandments today. Okay? So, those who sent me, if I testify, Jesus says, about myself, my testimony is not valid. There's another who testifies about me, and I know that his testimony about me is valid. So, this is where it gets funky. Because Jesus again replied, even if I testify about myself, my testimony is valid. Because I know where I came from and I know where I'm going, but you don't know where I came from or where I'm going. Now this should be a deep question upon your own heart, man. Why is Jesus, this is the woman caught in adultery, okay? You are testifying about yourself. Your testimony is not valid. The Pharisees are telling Jesus that his testimony is not valid. Jesus himself says right here, if I testify about myself, my testimony is not valid. Jesus confirms to the Pharisees here, you're testifying about yourself. Your testimony is not valid. Because why? Because they're probably saying, hey, dude, didn't you say back here that your testimony about yourself, your testimony is not valid? Now you're saying your testimony is valid. We're going to stone you to death for that shit, man. That's blasphemy. That's heresy. You're saying one thing and then you're saying another thing. There it is, right there in front of your face. And why don't you know where Jesus is going? Huh? Why don't you know where he came from? Where did Jesus come from? He came from lower earth. He came from sinner earth. Because he was cast down on the face of the deep like lightning. The god El, Zeus. So that's one quick, right-in-your-face example of Jesus contradicting himself. And that's the way I roll with the parables, folks. You can't, anybody who wants to challenge me, debate with me, come on my channel and have a discussion, a suitable discussion, no name calling, no nastiness, just prove your points, defend your case, and prove to us that your God, Jesus Christ, is God in three. Prove it. And I'll debate with you all day long a Trinity God against one supreme spirit of truth. Okay? And Yahweh, folks, isn't the supreme spirit of truth as well, because Yahweh's a man. Okay? Might as well hit it. Exodus chapter 15, verse 3, Bible Hub. Okay, let me show you. The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. The Lord here is Yahweh. He's telling you is the proper name of God of Israel. Okay? The Lord is the warrior. The Lord is his name. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is a man right here. It's telling us the Lord is a man. The Lord is a warrior. So the Lord is a man and a warrior. The Supreme Spirit created good and he created evil. Anyone that is a Lord of war is not a good God. So I'm showing you in these translations that Yahweh is a man of battle. Yahweh is his name. So if Yahweh is a man then he can't be the supreme. Okay? Why? I just showed it to you. I showed you here in Numbers. God is not a man. Okay? Yahweh is a man of battle. Right there. Yahweh is a man of battle. Yahweh is his name. Folks, that is another contradiction. God is not a man. Yahweh is a man. So I'm telling you that now, I could be wrong about this. I could be mistranslating what it is I'm sharing with you, okay? Like I said, I'm here to teach Gentile. I'm here to wake you up to the idea that you are in idol worship. When this God here creates himself in an image, this God that created man in his image is an idol. It's an idol, folks. Right there. Okay? This God that created a man in its image is a phantom. A phantom is a ghost. A ghost is a spirit of the dead. It's an illusion. And an illusion is a false impression on reality. It's a representative figure, carbon 666. This man that's created on the 6th day is a phantom. This is the devil. This is a god devil creating himself. Look. Watch. Bust this Bible in half is what I do. I shred it into pieces. He created himself. This God created man in his own image. And in the image of this God, he created himself, a male and female. This God created him. Why didn't it create him and her, male and female? He created them because this is the devil. And this is what Revelations 13:18 Bible Hub is dealing with. It's dealing with the beast. It's telling you who the beast is. This call is for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man. That number is 666. Okay? So if it's a number of a man, then this is going to be one of God's chosen children that is the beast. It's a man. This is a human that is a beast. It's not a Gentile that's in charge here, folks. It's a spiritual man. And it's the spiritual man who is human. Jesus was human. Jesus was the one that is human. Right here. See, Jesus' name in Greek was Isos, and the name of our Lord and two other Israelites. Who are the two other Israelites, folks? Yeah, the two other Israelites. One, I would say, is Elijah, and the other would probably be Enoch. I used to think it was Moses and Elijah, but I was probably corrected. I wasn't probably, I was corrected by one of my channel listeners. So Jesus' number here is 24 in the Greek concordance, and 2 plus 4 is 6, and 2 plus 4 is 6. That's 66. Jesus is the one that's created on the 6th day of creation. Look, in an image. See, God created man in his image. Who's the image of God? 1 Colossians 1:15 Bible Hub. The Son Jesus Christ. He's the image of the invisible God. He's the firstborn over all creation. He's the one that's created himself on the 6th day of creation. This all has to do with the 6th day of creation. For the Lord your God detests anyone who does these things, anyone who deals dishonestly. Well, I'm telling you straight up, folks, if you are doing usury of any kind at all, that is dishonest. Okay? This is what the marketplace has done, is it made these rich people above us and everything. All right? But if everybody's dealings were just straight across with one another, like I make rugs for a living, nice high quality rugs for a living, and I need somebody to carve a rock and make shelves in my rock home and stuff for me and stuff. So I give them a rug for them to give me a couple of windows panes where I can put some things and articles inside of my home, and both people feel happy with their transaction with one another. Where in this plane of existence, you have people like Donald Trump who screw people out of their money. Listen, Donald Trump isn't going to save people. This is what you got to understand. Mankind are the detestable beings on this plane of existence. Mankind and man are not the same. You've been tricked into thinking that both mankind and man are the same. They're not. They're two different creations. One is a human being. The other one is kind of a human. What does it lack? It lacks the spirit upon it. Okay? So the Lord doesn't deal, he thinks it's detestable, and anyone who deals dishonestly will be dealt with. Remember what the Amalekites did to you along the way when you came out of Egypt, when you were weary and worn out. They met you on your journey and attacked all who were lagging behind. They had no fear of God. When the Lord your God gives you rest from all your enemies around you in the land he is giving you to possess as an inheritance, you shall blot out the name of the Amalekite from under heaven. Do not forget. Well, let me ask you something. Have the Amalekites been wiped off the face of this plane of existence? Not in this reality bubble that I'm in, right? The Amalekites are still here. So what am I saying? I'm saying that they keep telling us history repeats itself. History repeats itself over and over and over. I keep trying to teach you that this technology that we're looking at here, these screens and all this, the computer age and all that, this is not new technology, folks. This is old technology reinvented. Okay? Our ancient ancestors had this kind of technology, far more advanced than what we're looking at. We're looking at a little box. I mean, why? Because what are they showing you in all the movies? They always have these little gadgets and devices on their arms, don't they? Or possibly it's a chip that's migrated into the arm, subconsciously not knowing that that's what they're shoving down your throat over and over. All right, so do not forget that I'm telling you that clearly Amalekite, the Amalek, is not wiped out. So I don't understand that as well. All these nations were supposed to be wiped out. Israel can never wipe out all the nations. The nations can wipe themselves out is what they're going to do. Mankind's going to wipe themselves out, and then the Spirit, the Supreme Spirit, he's going to use his chosen children to wipe the rest of you out in combat like a battle axe. Okay? There's going to be nothing that you can do to defend yourself against the onslaught that the Bible tells us is going to come upon the Gentile. There's nothing that anybody can do to stop it. If it's God's will for it to be done, then it's going to be done. If there's a Supreme Spirit that tells you that you shall be judged, then you're going to be judged. I hope this lesson helps you. All praise and glory to the Supreme Spirit of truth, the living God. Blessings to the children that love the Spirit of God, the true Jew, the Hebrew, the upright, righteous Israelite. This is White Raptor News Ministries.